Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, some of us, I guess all of us were wondering, hey, were we going to have a winter this year or not? Well, we got our answer, boy. Even snowed a little bit by my house the other day.
Yeah, we're living proof that the winter is here. Yeah. It is here because we're out here and it's cold and it's for real, man. It's here.
We got a little bit of sun right now, but when it goes down, when basically the law blocks it here in about 10-15 minutes, we're gonna be shivering. So that ought to be at least a little entertaining there. But we have some great questions for you all this week. We're gonna jump right into them. Juicebox is up first. He says, our overall thoughts on the Birmingham Bowl, and would South Florida be a notable win for Kingsbury and the staff? I'm gonna go ahead and just say, quick thoughts for me is USF is a good opponent. That's not a big name team, so it's kind of like most people are going to expect you to win because you're the Power 5 team, but South Florida is a good team, so it's almost, I don't want to be too negative, but it's almost like you beat them how you're supposed to. If you don't, then hey, you lost to a non-Power 5. But no, it's a quality team. And as far as would it be a notable win, yeah, I mean they've only been to 3 in 5 years, and this would only be Kingsbury's second bowl win, so it would be a notable win.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a 6-6 team, I mean, if you get any kind of a good opponent in the bowl game, then you got to be pretty happy. Yeah. Because I was expecting something worse than South Florida by a long shot. So, I'm actually pretty happy with this bowl opponent. And because of that, if they win this thing, it's going to look pretty good on them. I mean, this is a team that was in the top 25 for a lot of the year,
and they are now. So.
Yeah, and so I mean they're kind of a prominent opponent, relatively speaking, and there's kind of a major media area down there in South Florida as well, so you can get a little publicity out of this. So potential is there for a pretty good deal for Tech if they can pull this one off.
My biggest thing for me is whether it be here or even just typing it out or on the radio, I keep wanting to call it the Bourbon Bowl from The Waterboy, which I don't expect you to remember. But it sounds just like it. It's a Southern Bowl, the Bourbon Bowl. I almost say it every time, so I hope I don't say it on the radio, but oh well. All right, Texan 40 wants to know our biggest concern as far as playing against South Florida.
Well, I mean, to me, a bowl game, a lot of it is really about motivation.
Yeah.
It's about which team's more excited to play. And I think in terms of talent, these two teams are probably a fairly even match. I might give Tech a slight advantage in terms of overall talent, but not a whole lot.
No.
So I think it's going to come down to really which team is more excited to play. We'll see if Cliff can get the troops ready to go and motivated and jazzed up. I think the potential is there. They're coming off a win, a nice win over Texas. That should rekindle a little bit of enthusiasm. South Florida may be a little bit disappointed losing that last game to Central Florida. So Tech could have an advantage there, but I think that's where the balance lies is in terms of motivation.
Yeah, my concern is along the same lines, is that, them feeling like the underdog, wanting to prove something against a Power 5, a Big 12 school. I mean, South Florida's not scared of anybody, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the opposite. They want to show, hey, we are legit. We are a legitimate top 25 team, and we're better than this Power 5 team. So at least that's the theory. All right. Cojones wants to know who has a chance to get the NFL's attention at this bowl game. For me, it has to be Kiki Cutie.
Yeah. For me, I mean, first off, if you're not on the radar already, then you're not going to get there. One game in the bowl, a bowl isn't going to do it. The Birmingham Bowl isn't going to suddenly spring you into the first round or anything like that. But I think Dylan Cantrell is a guy who really could use a good game. I mean, he had a rough outing against Texas, got pretty well shut down. I think they bracketed him a little bit over there. But still, if he's got the NFL's attention already, he's got some interest. So if he was to have a really nice game against South Florida, I think that would be a good springboard into the combine and the workouts and all that stuff. So I hope Dylan has a good game.
Tornado Watch wants to know if we think Tech will be well represented fan-wise at the bowl game, and is the band going? Yes, tweeted out. They'll see South Florida's band on the field, so that'll be awesome. They will be there. But as far as Tech being well represented fan-wise, what do you think, Mighty Joe?
Yeah, man, that's a long trip, really. Birmingham's way on out there for most people, and you're talking about a 6-6 team. There's still some sort of disappointment. I think this program's a little bit in the doldrums right now. Not a lot of buzz right now, so I'm not expecting a huge turnout for Tech, even though Tech normally travels pretty well for bowl games. I'm not sure about this one, though, and I'm not sure that South Florida is going to bring a whole lot of people either. this could be kind of I hope there's a big walk-up. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned just because South Florida isn't a big name like we were talking about. Quality team, don't get me wrong. Like most of you on the site are well informed and are going to know that South Florida is a quality team, but I think the layman is not going to be like, South Florida, same people that were wondering how Iowa State beat Tech, because they have a good team, but not exactly a helmet school. Mr. Mustafaman wants to know if we expect any more staff shakeups, or is Joe Robb, the special teams coordinator who was not retained, is it? He says, with 2 coaching slots available, will Kingsbury hire an offensive coordinator and give up play calling, or does he hire a new special teams coach and bump up Manning? I do think there's a very good shot, and this was going back months, just when they first announced that there was going to be a 10th assistant, nationwide in college football. I did think Manning was a guy. He's an obvious guy, at a critical position where you have a lot of players, where you can have somebody really help some of the younger players, while Brandon Jones is, with his core 6 or 7 guys. Of course, Manning can help those guys too, but you know what I mean? Really bring those younger guys along and develop them and be on the practice field out there. So I think Manning's a very good bet. As far as the 10th guy, I don't know. And as far as them getting rid of anybody else, I really don't see that right now. Maybe somebody leaves for a different opportunity. That's always a chance. There's always a chance of that happening. That's just part of the profession. But no, as of right now, I see it standing where it is. And I've already put in a Freedom of Information request to get the exact information on all the contracts, just the language in the contracts, and because we already know the salary, but just the terms and all that.
Yeah, I don't really foresee any changes either. I mean, you're not going to touch anything on the defensive side of the ball, right? I mean, that's looking pretty good over there. And, I don't see a move on the offensive side either, because, I mean, Emo is a guy that some people have some questions about, but I'm not sure Cliff has the same questions.
No.
So I think Emo sticks around as well. So, yeah, I'm not seeing any shakeups.
What about the offensive coordinator? I didn't answer that. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll put it like this. I don't think Cliff is going to give up play calling. And if that's the primary component of your offensive coordinator, then no, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the only way that happens is if Kirby Hocutt makes it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing that sort of gumption out of Kirby Hocutt either. So I would be surprised if that happened.
This is a reference. I don't think you've seen this movie. The old ball coach 87 asks, "Is hope really a dangerous thing?" Which that's from Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay.
It is. It can be, but I'm definitely ever the optimist in that hope. I'm like Andy Dufresne, Tim Robbins' character. Hope is a good thing, and no good thing ever truly dies. I don't know if I agree with that second part, but it sounded really good when Morgan Freeman was saying it in Shawshank Redemption. No, hope is a good thing. I tell you what, man, I'm so sick of being sports miserable with Texas Tech because of the whole Cliff Kingsbury thing. We did it all last year, and I was incredulous that he wasn't let go. And then, for me, I don't know what else he could have done to show that he's not a head coach, as far as I think he cost them games. I think this team was better than their record, and I think him, along with the kicking situation, really cost Tech at least 2 games this year. So, but he's back. That's the bottom line. And so to me, that's once you accept that reality, it's been a lot better for me. I've had more hope around the entire program because I'm not just banging my head against the wall like, oh, this head coach is not good. You know what I mean? So I think if you can get to that point where you accept that he is going to be here, now look at the rest of the program, I think you can generate more hope. The turnovers on defense, the run defense, hopefully special teams will be turned around. It can't be much worse than last year as far as the kicking game, right? So I think you start looking at those kind of things, you do start developing hope, and I do believe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I have hope that next year will be a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Because they should be. They should be. Now obviously you got a real question mark at quarterback, but if you can get that position just kind of squared away somewhat, they should be a pretty good team next year. I think my sort of lack of hope is more over the long term. Is it just kind of a one-year blip next year where they win 8 or 9 games and then you're back to 6-6 every year? That's where my concern lies. And it just seems that the athletic director is pretty cool with that, so I'm just kind of tempering my expectations and just letting it ride.
Rancho Relaxo asks, do we think Tech will land Charles Cameron, the junior college defensive tackle? Zach Tanner interviewed him after he made an official visit last weekend. Both him and I both made our crystal ball predictions. Which, Joe, you getting in on those crystal ball predictions?
Oh, well, I can do it now. He's coming to Tech.
We wear the Johnny Carson hat and all that, the genie hat.
Kreskin.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's old enough. I know that reference.
Go.
But if I put the Kreskin hat on, I see him coming to Tech.
He's Cameron's visiting Florida Atlantic, which normally you're like, that's a no-brainer, goes to Tech. Lane Kiffin is there. He does better in recruiting than most coaches would at Florida Atlantic. And with this guy being a junior college guy, Charles Cameron, he recognizes, okay, Kiffin may not be here very, very long, but neither will I. You know, I'm a junior college guy. So, but that being said, from all appearances, including, as Zach pointed out poignantly, his mama, Cameron's mama, was happy. Cameron's from Mississippi, so either way, he's going to be traveling, Texas or Florida. So that's kind of moot. Tech's new facilities did blow him and mama away. So, and they really like the coaches. So I do believe Cameron, who announces next week, is going to pick the good guys, and that's going to be huge for you, which basically replaces John Graves, which is what we've been talking about, some of these upgrades for some of these decommits. TTU in Colorado wants to know, what positions do we need to lock down to feel good about this year's recruiting class? Well, it's all about defense. The numbers are pretty much there on offense. You're almost done on offense. So you need Charles Cameron, another defensive tackle will be good there. Another rush in would be nice for you to pair with Xavier Benson, a linebacker, and there's 2 or 3 guys in there in the mix that I don't really feel all that great about, but you have a linebacker spot since Devontae Hinton left, and then you have a couple of DB spots, and I think Hassan Hippolyte is the main guy. If you get him, Zach has described him as a Vontae Dorsey kind of guy, the hammer kind of guy. So if you can get him and then maybe some kind of corner prospect to go there with Mekhi Garner, then you feel pretty good about your DBs as well. So that's where you need your numbers, is all on defense at this point. Raider Power 81 wants to know, which current commits will sign on the 20th and how long does this early signing period last? The early signing period is from December 20th through December 22nd. And actually, we've spent a lot of hours, Josh Trice, Zach, and myself, tracking down the commits and getting what date they're going to sign. And I was actually surprised how many are planning on signing on the 20th, which it could be upwards around 10. So I'm looking at 9 to 10 guys, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a story, we're going to have the full list, all for y'all, the subscribers, very soon, next week at the latest, middle of next week at the latest. So look for that, and I'll also be talking about it on the radio some Friday, but we'll have it in detail, full detail for you by middle of next week. Now to our weekly food question. This one's from Cobb Hones. He says, at Joe, because Jarret won't be able to answer. Him making fun of me for not eating gator at the board meeting at Walk-Ons. I wouldn't eat gator that night. And so, he got a real kick. He couldn't believe that. Him and Raider 18 just couldn't believe it. Yeah, apparently so. But he says, what's the best non-traditional meat to eat, not beef, pork, chicken, or fish? And how do you like it prepared?
Well, this is nowhere near as experimental as gator, I must say. But, I like duck and I like pheasant. I have, when I was in Columbia, Missouri, fantastic restaurant called Trattoria Stratanova. They had something called a tea-brined duck breast. It was like it had been soaked in some sort of like Chinese tea for a long time. It sort of permeated that. Like slice that up, grilled it, put it over some risotto, which is an Italian rice dish. Spectacular. Really, if you ever come across that, snag it. Excellent stuff. Pheasant, I've had grilled pheasant before, and you don't see it much anywhere, but I tell you, man, that's like chicken except better. And I love chicken, but I wish I could have pheasant all the time, because that stuff is just really, really good. I'm sure there's some pheasant hunters out there. Send a couple of those birds my way, man, because I like me some pheasant, man.
Tip Mighty Joe with some pheasant, basically.
That's it.
All right. Hey, great stuff from y'all as always. We're going to get out of here because we're freezing, to be honest. Mighty Joe, thank you. Until next time.